It may sound funny, but despite everything, Russia is preparing for presidential elections in 2024, if Russia will still exist. The name of the main contender is known, but he pretends to hesitate.
Буду я это делать или нет, пока я сам для себя еще не решил.
2 years ago, Putin rewrote the constitution of the Russian Federation with his own hand. Now, according to the law, he can rule until 2036. However, it's unlikely that Putin will live that long. And now it's worth considering two options for the development of events. Peaceful, if he is removed under the pretext of the elections, and all the collective guilt of the cannibalistic country is put on him. Militant, if Putin is removed as a result of a coup, and all that will happen much faster. Let's consider who will replace Putin in each of the options. At least 6 Russians have publicly declared that they would like to compete for the presidency. So there should be at least some semblance of democracy in the elections.
Российской экономике необходимо меняться. И сейчас очень важно понимать, какие изменения необходимы и как они будут претворяться в жизнь.
This is Putin's assistant Maxim Oreshkin and one of the potential candidates. Currently he is engaged in import substitution.
Сколько всего вложили в прошлом году в импортозамещение? Не помню. Министр экономики, экономического развития, не помню. Но...
According to Bloomberg, Oreshkin is the author of the brilliant idea from the Kremlin to pay for gas in rubles.
Доллар — это не оружие, доллар — это наркотик, на который подсадили весь мир.
The so-called opposition is also among the potential candidates.
Меня зовут Ксения Собчак.
Putin's goddaughter Ksenia Sobchak spoke about her intentions to run for office 4 years ago during the last presidential elections.
У нас у всех есть только один конкурент на этих выборах, который всегда побеждает. Это Владимир Владимирович Путин. Поэтому давайте быть реалистами.
However, even the Russians did not immediately believe in her opposition. Rather, she is a self-proclaimed oppositionist.
Это моя партия! Идите голосовать! Не против Единой России! Как я это делала на этих...
And the most inconvenient competitor for the Kremlin is Alexei Navalny. The author of high-profile investigations into the hidden fortunes of Putin's inner circle.
Какой шикарный подъезд, скажете вы. Но это, ребята, не подъезд. Такая лестница находится внутри квартиры.
And also the author of numerous scandalous statements, in particular about the Ukrainian Crimea.
Крым — это что, бутерброд с колбасой, чтобы вот туда-сюда возвращать?
For the second year already, the oppositionists have been in prison. Blogs on social networks heads the investigations and remains an idol for millions of Russians who managed to escape abroad earlier. However, there are some strange moments in this story. First, he is alive, active and healthy, in a country where inconvenient opponents simply disappear or get the bullet. Secondly, his access to the internet was not cut off, his mouth was not shut, and that's in a country where it's extremely easy to do. Thirdly, nothing threatens him even in the colony during all this time. If someone were to look for a conspiracy here, he would definitely be convinced that Navalny is being kept in Russia for some purpose. Coup d'etat is a popular Russian pastime that comes after bloody wars with partial mobilizations. According to tradition, during a coup, the Russians slaughter the family of the helmsman, kill him, then the country plunges into anarchy, and this gives the world 5 years until the next Lenin, Stalin or Putin take the throne. There are already several camps that can lead the coup. First is the Ministry of Defense, on which all the dogs were let down for the failed war and mobilization. Shoigu and Lapin are information outcasts. Surovikin, who became famous for the carpet bombing of Syria and now also for missile attacks on the civilian objects in Ukraine, is remembered by Russians as a butcher. The Ministry of Defense knows what will happen when they are finally found guilty and is trying to seize the initiative. It will not be difficult for them to kill Putin while he still trusts them. FSB, alma mater for the so-called Russian president. This wing of the security forces is just trying to destroy the reputation of the Ministry of Defense, to seize their tasks, resources and funding. Quarrels over the Kerch Bridge, as well as the detonation of the bridge itself, are mentioned exclusively with reference to the FSB. It is not difficult for them to destroy Putin. Moreover, the FSB always has another grey man puppet who will be called the leader and forced to worship. Private military companies. These are new ambitious potential leaders. Kadyrov with his TikTok warriors, or Prigozhin with the Wagner prisoners. Together they openly criticize the Ministry of Defense and the FSB, trying to regain authority in the eyes of Putin, or at least a few centimeters closer to his body. For the Russians, this is the worst option for a putsch, since private military companies in Russia have been tailored for looting, killing civilians and mass rape from the very beginning. In addition, the professional part of these soldiers have been rotting in the fields of Ukraine for a long time. Actually, for Russians, any of the options will not significantly change anything, unless Navalny looks like a preparation for returning to the civilized world later. The Russians were already there, but they didn't learn anything.